You know, something just occurred to me. If I don't monetize my videos, then I don't have to worry about copyright music in the background. It's okay. I just might experiment and throw up a video with copyright music and see what they do. But I'm certainly going to stop worrying so much about it in the background. I'm never going to monetize. In the first place, I am so far from being qualified for monetization under the new rules that I'll probably never monetize. And in the second place, how I hope to make money off these videos, if I manage to get a fan following, is going to be through donations. Like, I might set up my Patreon, or you may just send me money on my PayPal, or you're going to be going to my Amazon wish list. That's how I hope to benefit from this account, if it ever does. I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the work, but that doesn't mean anything in this world. A lot of people, successful people, will tell you that if you put in the time and the work, you're going to win, but that's not true. I know lots of people who put in a lot of effort and a lot of passion and come out losing in the end. So it's the capitalist lie that hard work will make you rich. It really is. However, not working hard is guaranteed to fail. So I'm going to work hard anyway. But that's no guarantee of success. I know that. So, but at the very least, these videos are a historical record for me, I guess. I don't know. YouTube might just wipe everything out one day. You know, just one day, just erase the whole account, my whole account, the whole darn website. I don't really think YouTube will live longer than me. I don't think it'll outlive me. I'd love that, but I don't think it'll happen. But yeah, so I'm not going to worry so hard about whether I've got music playing in the background. Let's see what happens. You know, little bunny, you know what's the trouble with having a great deity who promises to protect you? You know, our God will protect you. Just have faith and they'll protect you. The great shepherd cares for his flock and all that. Well, shit happens anyway, you know. Like I got cancer. And you're a slave rabbit. You got a pretty good life. The problem is, when shit happens, you have no recourse but to choose between blaming the victim or admitting you were wrong about your faith. It's much easier to blame the victim than to admit that God is not looking out for you. But there's so much evidence out there that God isn't looking out for you. Does that mean there's no God? Some people say so. I think there is a God. I just don't think that God is infallible or omnipotent. I do think that God is omniscient. He knows all, he sees all, or she, it. It knows and sees all, but it does not have power over all. And when you think about it for a minute, you know, one of the major religions in the world says that it's omnipotent, but then in the same breath it says, but it gives us choice. You can't have all the power if you've given some away. The fact that you're capable of having all the power doesn't change the fact that you don't, because you are restraining yourself at the very least in order to give others choice. And because of that choice, it is not possible for a deity to protect you from everything that can happen. And if life didn't have any downs, there really wouldn't be any point in being alive. We're here to have experiences, and it's not an adventure until something goes wrong. I've actually got multiple scobies. This is the kombucha I'm going to put with juice. This is this fresh tea and honey for the kombucha. And the scobies are breaking apart naturally on their own, so I am ready to give one away. But there isn't anybody who's ready to take one. Pretty cool. So this I'm going to mix with just boxed apple juice, because I don't want to take the time to juice carrots and apples. It won't be as good, but it'll be plenty good enough. And before I turn off the camera, it's a Saturday morning. I woke up, decided to go straight to breakfast, finished breakfast, had a little cry over Wendell. I don't know if I told my vlog about Wendell. Wendell and I dated heavily, seriously, for 3 years, and then kept hooking up for another 2 years. I wanted to marry him, but he didn't want to be tied down, and he spent a lot of time being critical. He spent a lot of time, he was very critical of me very often. You know, rather than tell me I looked beautiful, when I was feeling beautiful, he'd remind me that I needed to lose 5 pounds. Yeah, I mean, when I think back at how fit and how hot I was, where the hell did he get off telling me to lose 5 pounds? And I put up with it until I finally didn't. And at the time when I broke up with him, I only knew it instinctively. I didn't understand why. But as the years went by, I realized, no, you know, there was always some little correction he had to make about everything. There was never, he just couldn't praise me. You know, a person needs praise. The only thing with Wendell is if he would have married me, I would have stayed with him. But he was generous in so many other ways, but not in that one. Anyway, he died in time for Christmas. I was communicating with his family to see how they were doing. Oh, I would have loved to be part of that family. And they say I'm part of the family, and I suppose you know, if I wanted to drive up there for holidays, and I'd still be part of the family. But how awkward is that, the ex-girlfriend? I mean, I'm not part of the family. But I'm glad to know they still care about me, and they understand I'm grieving. I loved that man. In spite of it, in spite of the negativity that he gave me, I loved him. And in so many other ways, he was so positive. I don't know why he couldn't stop correcting me and criticizing me and guiding me. It was stupid. Anyway, so Saturday morning started with a little bit of crying. I have a bunch to do today. This is a bunch of dried fruit that I soaked, and just this morning I added a bunch of almonds and pistachios, and I want to crack the walnuts in this mixed nut and add it to that. And I'll do that after I finish the dishes. And then I'm going to add these canned peaches and this tapioca. And I'm going to mix it all up, and it's going to be a delicious pudding. And maybe I'll can some. I'm going to have enough. I'm going to have more than we can eat. I should can it. I should can some of that canned pudding. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And since I'm going to be getting out the canner and canning the canned pudding, maybe I can also can up, because I've got a vegetable stew in the fridge that nobody's eating, and I've got this. I'm going to make chicken and I don't know, chicken and rice noodles I was going to make, but that's just a dinner. That's not something you're going to can up. So I'll can this, and I'll can up that stew, I guess. I'm also going to start a batch of bone broth today. That's this unit here. I'm going to fill it with bones and water and stick it on the stove for a couple of days. In my Minecraft, I finally completed my train line. And now what I'm doing is I'm studying up to learn how to make an automatic minecart emptying system. And I don't think I can get it to return the minecarts. For that, I'd need a whole second set of rails. And I'm also wondering, I'm encountering a curious problem where the minecarts don't seem to continue traveling if they're outside of my computer, how do you call that? Chunk loading distance. There's a certain amount of distance in which the surrounding terrain is loaded into the console's memory. And outside of that distance, I don't think, well, I know that outside of that distance, nothing happens in the game. Mobs don't spawn, villagers don't die, animals don't die, and even the stuff you drop out of your pockets doesn't despawn. They call that despawning. It doesn't vanish. It waits for you, and when you come back, you can still pick it up. Like if you die, your stuff won't vanish unless you're in the area for a certain amount of time without picking it up. So when I was checking out my rail cars, they seemed to get just beyond my view and then nothing. And they would be there when I advanced towards them, when I got close enough. They would be there and start running down the rails and actually seem to stop and grind to a halt. And that might be because I didn't have enough power systems on the line so that they didn't have enough energy to keep going. But I suspect I may have to chase my carts down the rail line personally in order to get them to travel the rest of the way. I wonder if someone else is in my world, how that works, because if they have the chunk loaded and the cart that I sent goes to them, will it then use their console to continue to calculate and then send that information back to my console as server? Interesting. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have for that. Like I say, I've got all this cooking to do, and I've got Tom coming over. So, and I've also started editing video for the next vlog post. So I'm not really sure how much time I'm going to have for Minecraft this weekend. Monday, I have to go for what's called a CT scan. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday. So that's also heavy on my mind. And even though it's, you know, I should be thinking of it as just a couple of hours out of the day, but because I have to get up and go there with no breakfast, it looms large in my mind as this all-day event that has to encompass the day before for preparation. To make sure that my colon is quiet that morning. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like I don't want to deal with it in a public place. A whole lot of dried fruits around the house and nuts that were getting old. So I put the dried fruits in water overnight to make them nice and plump. I took the water from those dried fruits and nuts and put it in a pot. And it's boiling much too hard. I'm going to put tapioca in there. I've got a whole jar of tapioca here. Look at that. It looks like tapioca. That face of satisfaction. It's so tasty. Shows how good it is. You're so shy. Oh, there's mine. It's so good. It's one of those things that when you have it at a restaurant, you tell everybody about it for a week. Supper is some vegetable stew over fried chicken or turkey breast, which is resting on a bed of noodles boiled in bone broth. And it's all put together like the way the Japanese do. Run, Piper, run! Zoom! Somebody wants to get inside. Let's go inside then. Come on. Where's Timmy? Go on, Timmy. There you go. It's a Sunday morning. Last night I worked on my hopper unloading system in Minecraft. Thing to unload the mine carts automatically, and it just wasn't going well. It was spitting the mine cart out before it was done. It was one mine cart was crashing into another, you know, the outgoing one was crashing to the incoming one, and then I finally gave up, got ready for bed, and I saw a video where a guy had simply placed a cactus at the end of the line, and the mine cart just hit the cactus and broke up and fell into the hopper and was collected. And I thought, I don't need the mine carts to go back on the track. I don't really want them to. It doesn't work. I rather like the idea that they just go into a chest and I can collect them and take them back to the mine with me and send them back out with more stuff. So, but part of the problem is that as soon as the minecart is out of sight, it stops going anywhere. It will not go to the distant place without you. So inevitably, I will have to ride a minecart behind a train of chests, minecart chests, any way you shake it, because they stop moving as soon as they get out of view. It's the way the computer works. If it's not within player view distance, it simply stops. It ceases to exist and just idles there doing nothing until you get within range. So irrigated this morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. with output. You know, I can't control when the damn thing goes off, and I can't sleep when it's going off, so I got up and tried irrigating, and I don't know how well it worked. It's still going, and it's still the wrong kind of output, the sort of thing that requires a lot of attention from me and lots of frequent trips to the bathroom. But I can't go to the bathroom right now because it's in use. My husband is using it. So today I've got some bird cages to clean, and I'm going to work on editing a video, and I got to clean that poor fish's water. He's just laying on the bottom all the time in a stupor. I think the water's too foul for him. I got to change it. And the rabbit needs his cage cleaned. So I actually got my work cut out for me today. Tomorrow the CT scan, so I'm all worried about being able to get up early enough. So it was kind of convenient that I woke up at 5 a.m. because that means I'll go to bed at a decent early hour tonight and be able to wake up early enough to get in my car and drive to the hospital for my scan. And this is a routine scan. You know, after you've had cancer, they monitor you, and in this case, I've got spots on my lungs that they're monitoring to see if they're going to come or go or what they're doing. And, you know, if there's bad news, then I'll deal with it when that happens. But at the moment, there's no news. There's nothing to deal with. There's nothing to feel anything about. So, just annoyed that I have to do it so early in the morning. But I know what it is, you see. They've got people booking appointments for that thing day in and day out, all day long. Like, you know, yes, they do have 1 p.m. appointments, but they reserve those for people who live out of town. These hospitals serve a huge amount of the rural population in Saskatchewan. Some of those people have to drive 3 or 4 hours to get into town. So they're the ones who get the afternoon appointments. When you live in town, you get the morning appointments, because that's fair, even if you don't like getting up early. They have to get up early to get in for 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. I mean, a 1 p.m. appointment to somebody who's 4 hours away, they still have to get up early. So that's the way she goes. This is how I'm spending this wintry, snowy day. Working on a wool blanket to keep me warm on other wintry, snowy days. Actually, I think it's going to be pants. That's right. It's only fabric until you're done with it. And then whatever you made out of it, is what it is. So I can make pants, I could make a blanket, I could make a vest. Maybe I could make pants and a vest. Wouldn't it be nice if there was enough to do both? It might not be enough to do either. We'll see. Of course, I could probably make more if that's the case. If you're familiar with weaving, you might wonder why I don't use the heddle as a beater bar. Why instead I'm using this for beater bar. And that's because this yarn suffered extensive breakages throughout. Actually, I could probably get away with doing it in this stretch, but there's all these spots where it's broken and the yarn keeps breaking every time I run it, because these have to go through the heddle eyes and they get stuck and the yarn gets pulled and it gets broken. So I've been solving that by leaving the heddle as a heddle and not using it as a beater bar. Woohoo, there you go. Feels so good. I like the fuzzy feel of it. This is going to be such nice fabric. So it's Monday morning. We're out with the sun. The sun isn't even up yet. Taking me to my CT scan. We've decided I'm going to get a ride with Dan, and then I'm going to take the bus. I just don't want to deal with driving, and I haven't had anything to eat, so I brought some food with me, so I'll be able to eat after the scan. So here I am in the hospital in medical imaging. The lack of breakfast isn't doing my personality any good at all. And that is what it is. I'm going to see if they'll let me set up the camera in the room. Get some of the process on camera. Wouldn't that be cool? Interesting things going on, so I've definitely got to put it in the video. Oh, okay. So that's it. The worst part is running around on an empty stomach and getting poked by IV needles. And she had to poke me twice. And I got to take the bracelet off. So, 3 layers of pants plus leg warmers, a warm sweater over my t-shirt. That's getting dressed for winter. So I brought my breakfast, 2 boiled eggs, a chunk of cheese, and some cafe au lait. Nice brew. And a book to read. I'm reading Game of Thrones. This is the atrium of the City Hospital in Saskatoon. Lovely ficus tree overhead. Trudging along. Trudge, trudge, trudge. I've decided to walk downtown. It's not very far. And then I can stop at Lush and get my favorite face cream. The sidewalks around here are remarkably clear. You can walk like a human. This is our much criticized bus mall. People say it's too cold, too desolate, too dirty, too lonely, too ugly. People being, including me. They left me here one time for 55 minutes at 11 o'clock at night waiting for a transfer because I took the bus home from the movies. That's why I almost never take the bus. I'd rather walk. So pretty much this is Saskatoon's downtown. It's not a bustling metropolis by any stretch of the imagination, but apparently for Saskatchewaners growing up in small towns, it seems to be. I've been in some big cities. This isn't one. Look at this gown, can you see it? All of the sequins, and then that flare skirt. Holy moly. And how skinny do you have to be to wear those jeans? Dear God. So this is the Midtown Mall. It's struggling. You know, people would rather drive to the big box stores on the fringe where they always know exactly what's available and they can drive from one store to the next and to the least amount of walking possible. So the downtown is being gutted. I blame the big chain stores. They don't move into the malls like they should, leaving downtown gutted. I also blame the parking situation. The city needs to stop charging money for parking and make up that income elsehow. Or start charging it at the big box malls instead of downtown. It's ridiculous. You know, they talk about how they're avoiding traffic jams, but I don't know. That's why I don't drive my car downtown. I just don't like dealing with parking. Even if you find a spot, you have to now deal with some kind of weird modern digital crap to pay. You have to guess how long you're going to be there. And you're maximum of 2 hours, so if you go a little bit over, you get a ticket anyway, even if you've paid your parking. So I just don't drive my car downtown. So off to Lush. When I say this place is struggling, I'm not kidding. They're doing construction and stuff. But all the big stores are going. Sears used to be at that end of the mall. Now it's just a big blank wall. It looks like Lush Cosmetics has moved, and we're here. Lush. Let's take a look, shall we? So, this place. Hi. Hi.
How's it
Doing good. I'm vlogging.
doing? Cool.
So, this is Lush. I have got to have that bubble bar. So, I'm here for bubble bars and Enzymian. Yeah, bubble bars and Enzymian. Don't worry, I only have 5 viewers. So there it is. I wound up spending 250 bucks. Anyway, I've got some bubble bars. I've got my American Cream conditioner and my Enzymian face cream and these beautiful bubble bars. And the glitter goes in my hair. Just like that. Disco glitter. Hudson's Bay is the oldest and last department store left. We've lost Zellers. We've lost Eaton's. We've lost Sears. And we're not going to have these guys much longer because nobody actually shops there. I don't. I actually caught it. Had to flag her down and she was a sweetheart to stop. But now I can just relax and ride this bus all the way home. I have to sit in the terminal a bit, but that's fine. I'm just going to chill. So, here you go. Saskatoon City Transit. Frankly, the bus is in good shape. I like that. It's clean. I'm riding the bus like a real grown-up.